Hey everybody, it's Jario. So I've been getting some questions from some people, or I've seen questions in some servers like, how do you do the the chorus plucking thing that Jario does? How do you do that? So I'm gonna just share how I do that. So I got this quote from SpongeBob. This one's pretty well known. To do that job. That one, and I got the extended bass. I'm gonna turn down the volume so it's not too loud. That should be good. Okay. So, and actually I guess it does help before you do that to have some other, like if you're new to using Vegas, also helps to have certain things set up like the grid and certain options like enable snapping, snap to grid, and I also have snap to markers on. Snap to all events, keep that off. Grid spacing, I do 30-second notes. I've got the beats per minute set to 140. Ruler time format, time and frames. This isn't super important, but that's just how I have it. Some video settings, I like to do 56 for like 140 BPM stuff. Okay, so firstly, what I like to do is first I like to set up the quote in its entirety just to have it easier to use. So first what I will do is I'm going to right click, I press H, or you can just click switches, and then I press N, or I just click normalize, and it does this. So it makes whatever you got, it raises up the peaks, so it's easier to look at and easier to use, and then you can adjust the volumes too. So, then I just got to pick the syllables I want to use. Yeah, I'll do these ones. So next I'll drag it here, and I did the quick little like snipping thing, like the splitting with the S key. You can also like click where you want to split, then right click, and then split. You can also do that. I never do that. I just like to click S, done. So next, now I've got the chorus sample in the exact length, like of a normal thing. So for example, if I just take this and copy and paste it, like this, already sounds like chorus. Already sounds pretty good. And honestly, you probably don't even need to do the plucking with this one, but I'm just going to show how to do it anyways. So firstly, I've got this, so I make sure it's selected, and then I press U, which ungroups the video and audio. Because before, when you, no matter like which thing you grab to select and then drag along, it does both things. But if you press U, and then you can drag them independently. There's also a thing you can do where you can also group them back together with G, by the way. You can also do this thing where if you hold shift, you can do this when you drag them by the edges. That can be useful sometimes for certain things. Anyway, so you ungroup, and then here's the trick. Here's the chorus pluck trick. So you see how I've got with the grid, there's like 3 things here. There's the beginning, the end, the middle. I go just left of the middle, split, and then I drag the left edge of the right split, and I drag it to the left, and it creates this crossfade. I think there's also an option to enable automatic crossfade, so make sure that's enabled. So, you know, if you don't get that result, then check that option and make sure that's all good. So then that's pretty much how it will be. And then what I like to do also is you can right click parts of the crossfade where it shows this like this thing. You can right click and it shows a bunch of these, and these are just types of crossfades, like for the inner part to go faster or slower. So I like to choose this one where it looks like where they meet is just more left. I like to do that. It's just a personal preference. There are probably other ones that work fine. It doesn't really it doesn't really matter too much. Actually, a thing I forgot to mention was I also like to keep chorus samples into like a single channel. So I'll usually I'll right click, choose channels, and then choose combine. Or depending on what I'm doing, I might also choose like left only or right only. Maybe sometimes if there's like some background noise that's like more in a certain ear. It just depends. I like to do that. It also makes it easier to look at and manage, and it can help with like certain chorus samples where like there's a certain sound or like a surround or stereo sound, and that can stand out pretty easily in some remixes. You know, that can happen sometimes. So then after this, basically the only things left at this point, I can select everything. So I can click here, hold shift, and then click here, selects everything. You can press G, that groups all this back together. You can group, you're able to group as many things as you want if you select everything, which is pretty funny, but obviously that's not what we need here. And then at this point, it's just a matter of dragging these lines up and down to change the gain. That just means volume, basically. It's just another way of saying volume. And you can see it looks more plucky. Now, obviously, we don't need it super plucky. We don't need to do like this. Like, that's not what we're aiming for. It just gives it a little more like attack, or it's basically just changing like I think the music terms are like decay and suspense or something. Sustain, decay and sustain. That's what it is. So then we have that. So let me copy and paste this over. And we have a chorus sample with the plucking. And I'll just show it over again with this one. Oh yeah, and also timing how it's split is pretty important. So you don't want to have this be too late, because then, let's see. We have this. That does sound a little weird, but I think it's just the background noise. But if you have it like this, that sounds a little weird. Like, it doesn't seem correct, you know. And so I'll just demonstrate this again. I ungroup, I split, I drag, I change the thing to group back together. I basically just like subconsciously did that part. I adjust the volumes, and it also makes it pretty easy to like, when you want to get the right volumes, you can also reference other pluckings that you did. So you can try to have like this waveform match this one with the peaks, and same with this one with that one. You can also select them both and change them at the same time, then do them individually if you need to. And then it's just a matter of copying and pasting. So let's hear this whole thing. Okay, that sample is still going to sound a little weird because there's some, I think it's some background noise of like SpongeBob poking his nose or something. But, you know, it's plucked. It's something. I can always choose a different sample for that, but, you know, it's fine. So that's how I do it. Wow, secrets revealed.